So I figured since I had a conference here in Madison, I should use it a little bit to promote Madmongers. So there's a lot of people from Madison in here right now that don't ever come to Madmongers. So I just wanted to say the third Tuesday of every month, so therefore July 17th will be the next one. Come on down to the Essen House, 7 o'clock, third Tuesday of every month. Join us. We do awesome talks, and if there's some area of Perl that you just want to learn something more about, we'll do a talk for you on that topic. You just suggested. All right? Thanks.
Does this microphone work? No. Thank you. All right. Does this work? Can anyone hear this? Yeah, it's just, I don't know why that's happened. It's just some misalignment thing. The slides are particularly unimportant, so I wouldn't worry about that. Okay, so I've seen a lot of talks that advocate worse is better, and like the usual justification is it worked for Unix, and I'm lazy, so let's go with it. So I saw some code for downloading a web page that somebody gave as a worse is better example. This is the version that I wrote because I wasn't actually at the talk. So the web page to download is just in $_, and then that's pretty much how you would download a web page, right? Like you just strip out the last thing, and then it'll probably show up in a file eventually. So there's nothing wrong with that, right? I tried it and it works. I put a carefully named text file on my web server and then downloaded it, and it was in that variable. So that must mean it's good. But the code kind of feels bad, don't you think? Doesn't there feel like there's something wrong with this somewhere? Okay, so it kind of looks like line noise up at the top. That should worry you a little bit. There are a lot of assumptions like what the file's going to be called and that there aren't going to be redirects. Then there's all this quoting and parsing. We're execing the shell at some point. We're catting things. And the code is all glue. There's really no way to improve this for next time, right? The next time you want to download a web page, you're just going to cut and paste the same stuff. And when is it ever going to get better? When are you going to make this better? Also, like overwriting files based on what the server sends you and deleting stuff and execing shell commands is bad. I mostly put this slide in here for the people that download this talk later and they're like, ooh, this is how you get a web page in Perl. Yeah, so we want to be able to improve our code, right? Like even though worse is better, we want to be able to improve the code and get better over time, right? Because we don't want to be worse forever. Otherwise, it would be like 1960, and we'd be like flipping switches on ENIAC or whatever you guys did back then. Yeah, so writing this code from scratch every time is not helpful. We don't learn anything. We can't reuse anything. So what can we do that's better than that? Well, I say we should learn about libraries and learn about programming. We should let your code improve as you improve as a programmer. Let the libraries handle the details. And let your code, your application code, describe its function, not how to do something. Say, I want this web page, not strip off the path using this regex and then system to wget, and so on. And so what I say is don't be a library author when you're being an application author, right? Your application is a separate piece of code. Your libraries are a separate piece of code. And focus on each one at the same time, or at different times. Okay, so my first foray into this was any event subprocess, which is basically like PO component run. Okay, so I was doing the same thing over and over. Like I was executing processes, wait PID, dumping FDs, who knows what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. Like nothing good ever came of that. My life was sad because every time I wanted to exec a process, it just didn't work the way I wanted. And then I made this smiley face regularly. So one day I decided I was going to learn everything about Unix. I was going to learn about pipes and FDs and dup and sudo TTYs and sockets and all this good stuff so that I could write a library that could actually be improved. Like instead of writing the shitty code every time, I'd have it in a library and then I could improve it as I learned more. And now my stuff just works. When I want to exec a subprocess, yeah, okay, so there's this 1,000 lines of code I wrote to make it clean. But I only see one code in my application, one line of code in my application. And my stuff just works now. Like I can write the byte Control-C to my process, and then it gets sig int, just from the magic of Unix. So other thoughts. If programming seems hard, you're doing it wrong. I've seen a lot of hacks where people like get themselves into some problem and then they write code to get themselves out of the problem, and this just snowballs. If you need a lot of hacks to like do something, you've done something else wrong. Step back and try to think about what you're trying to achieve. Okay, so the test trap talk. Yep, I like the test trap talk. If you have to do this, if you have to use test trap to make your code testable, you've done something horribly wrong. And Randall's argument was you can't touch the code. Well, you have to touch the code. You can't be a programmer if you can't edit the code. Don't hack around it. Figure out how to edit the code. When you can improve your code, you need less hacks. Okay, so I'm going to skip this example because it's stupid. And I'm out of time. Yeah, so if programming is hard, it's because you made it hard. Try to do something better, and it will be better. Feel good about writing good code. Don't let people talk you into worse is better. Write good code. Learn all the time so you can improve your libraries. Use your knowledge to write better code. Don't trade the future for now. Spend some time now. And better is better, not worse is better.